This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Hello and good morning from Anaheim, California. This is Dan Zehr, host of Coffee with Kenobi. You can hear the ambient traffic noise as I walk down Catella Avenue. To my left is California Adventure. Palm trees all around me. That's right. It is the first day of D23, the ultimate Disney fan experience. I am so excited to be bringing all of this to you from the Convention Center of Disneyland and the Orange County area. Excuse me, it's been quite a day already. My flight left Chicago at 5:40 in the morning. Now, I live a couple hours away from Chicago, so I had a bit of a dilemma. So I'll tell you a little bit behind the scenes, a little inside baseball of the Coffee with Kenobi covering a convention experience. I went up the morning before about 6:30, and I got to the airport, and there was no one there. I couldn't check my bags early, and I realized I'm not going to go sit in a cushy little lounge area, maybe take a little nap, and then get up about 3 or so and get on the plane. No, I couldn't check my bags, so I had to just sit there. And I sat there for about a half hour, and anybody who knows me really well knows that I don't do well when I'm woken up. So I kept getting woken up by the employees through no fault of their own, just, doing their thing. And then I realized, you know what, this is not working. So I got back on the courtesy shuttle at Midway Airport, went back to my car, which happened to be parked in a nice little shaded area, although it was night, so I guess it doesn't matter if it's shaded, but you know what I mean. And got in the car, put the seat back, and just took a nap for about 3 hours. My alarm went off at 3:30. I happened to get up, coincidentally, at 3:27. I guess my brain was ready to go. And I got back on the shuttle, checked my bag. The airport was suddenly packed with people at 4 in the morning, which I did not expect. And sat there, did some work, got on the plane, landed in Denver, transferred, and now I'm here in California. My room is not yet ready, but that's okay. I'm going to go into the convention a little bit earlier than I expected, look around and see what I can see. I'm very, very excited to bring all of this to you. Got lots of interviews. Looking forward to running into some of our good friends from Coffee with Kenobi and the Star Wars universe in general. So much, much more to come. Thank you for joining me. And if you're listening to this, be sure to let everybody know where to find Coffee with Kenobi and coverage of D23. We're finally here on the convention floor. I am naturally in the Lucasfilm D23 Pavilion. The volume, I have goosebumps. It is absolutely breathtaking. You can stand up on the screen, on the stage for the volume, and over you are all these monitors. You can look at yourself. It looks like you're in an episode of The Mandalorian or something Star Wars related. And now we're doing a presentation of Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. I'm going to play the audio here for you so you can listen to it.
How about now? Whoa, you can hear me for sure. There we go.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. All right. So,
run it back.
It's pretty crazy to think that this is the 25th anniversary of the LEGO Star Wars brand partnership. And it's like, to think about how much amazing has really come out of it. This is going great. But really, from like the most amazing sets in the galaxy that got me playing with Star Wars toys again, to some of the greatest video games that I literally poured hours of my life into. And I think what we're here to talk about today is some of the funniest animated content, I think, on Disney+. So who here has seen LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special? All right, it's good, it's good. What about Terrifying Tales? Freemaker Adventures? Yeah, it's a good show. I could probably go on and on and on because they're all so great. But for this year, given the fact that this has been 25 years, we really wanted to up our game and do something we never, ever did before. And it's why we went to these guys, because I gotta say, these are two of the biggest Star Wars and LEGO fans I've ever had the pleasure to work with. If you ever get to be on a Zoom call with them and look at their background, that will definitely attest to the truth of that, because everything is LEGO sets. Guys, what does 25 years of LEGO Star Wars mean to you?
I mean, my two biggest passions ever since I was this big have been Lego and Star Wars. Like even before Lego Star Wars officially existed, I was building Star Wars with generic Lego. Like it's an understatement to say that Lego and Star Wars mean a ton to me, and to be a part of this big 25th anniversary, like ultimate celebration of all things Lego and Star Wars, it's been a dream come true. And this is like we saw this as an opportunity to make something very special for all of the fans like us.
Yeah, I mean, for me, some of my earliest memories are inheriting my brother's original Star Wars toys. As far as my entire life, I've dreamed about being able to play in this galaxy, and the fact that we're here today with all of you is quite literally a dream come true.
We should get like a Run DMC kind of pass the mic thing going. Look, when we started conceiving this idea, we had just done those holiday specials I was just talking about, and we loved those. And one of the things we realized is that people were watching them each season, which was always the hope of those. But we were starting to run a little low on holidays, and we knew we wanted to do something new. And so when we sat back and first started having these conversations, it was really starting where Lego Star Wars kind of always starts, and that's with play. You know, I think we were really inspired by the way kids actually play with Legos, and they dump their sets out on the floor, they mix and match them, they're not thinking about timelines, they put different heads on different bodies, and as fun as that is, we really wanted to push ourselves to figure out how do we do that in story, and that's really where these guys came in.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say that the number one goal in creating this is we wanted to recreate that feeling of playing with your Star Wars Lego. Like, it's true, like the way, you know, every kid or adult plays with their Lego is, yeah, you dump it on the ground and you just make your own story. You rebuild the galaxy. Good guys are bad guys are good guys, mixing and matching ships and vehicles and everything to create your own version of the universe. So this was just an amazing opportunity for us to create our version of a mashed up Star Wars universe that we wanted to play in.
I know some of that has led to actual Lego sets, which has got to feel pretty amazing. Have those? Can we show some of those?
Look at these. I mean, this was a dream come true for me, like as the ultimate Lego nerd, to just be able to sit with Dan and be like, what would be some fun Lego sets to make? And then suddenly, here they are. They're real. The first time I held these boxes in my hands, like I got emotional. You know, the Dark Falcon, I mean, it's sold out everywhere now, but you know, you can still find it somewhere. It's so awesome. Jedi Bob, bringing him back. This mashup set, yeah, I mean,
It was extremely rewarding to be able to not only work with the Lucasfilm team, but the Lego team, the people in Denmark, who were so supportive and were so encouraging us to just go for it. And having an expert at Lego like Benji, I will not pretend to be the Lego guy. There were a lot of calls about, I don't know if the studs on this look right, and I would kind of go, yes, I agree. So that was more of a Benji error. But the fact that we're able to not only match up and mix up original, you know, classic characters, but also create our own characters to be a part of this galaxy was one of the most rewarding things that we've ever done in our careers.
I'm seeing actual real Jedi Bobs here. There's 2 Jedi Bobs. That is mind blowing. But all right, we've geeked out on the toys enough. I think it's really a matter about we're really here to talk about the special. You know, and Darth Jar Jar already broke the internet. I've got to say, he broke the internet. He's an internet celebrity, but there's so much more that this special is about. And I think this is our time to finally start telling people, like, what can they expect?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the teaser. You've gotten little hints through the Lego sets and things like that, but yeah, now we want to share a little more with you. You know, Darth Jar Jar's not the only mashed up, shaken up character in this galaxy. You know, the entire galaxy has been rebuilt.
Yeah, heroes are villains, villains are hero. There are different planets that you think that you know are completely different. Ships are mashed up. Everything is different, but somehow also spiritually the same. It's really that experience of kind of taking everything that we know and just throwing it down and saying, how can we do this a little bit differently, a little bit unexpectedly? And you know, we got Rebel, AT Walkers. It really was, Lucasfilm maybe made a mistake in saying, Dan and Benji, whatever you can think of. And we said, oh, really? Wow. We've been preparing for this moment for 40 years. So let us show you.
We might have lost our mind making this, I'll be honest. But the other thing that's really incredible about this is the cast. The cast is absolutely mind-boggling for this type of show. And why don't you guys talk about who they are? I think you'll be impressed this time.
Yeah, I mean, look at this amazing cast. We've got...
Yes, we worked this out, and I'm first. No. So first we have Gabe Matarazzo, absolutely unbelievable. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet. But also so talented. He is Sig Griebling. He is the protagonist, the hero of the show. And we'll talk a little bit more about him later, but he is, in fact, just a simple, literal, scruffy-looking nerf herder. Herding nerfs. Something we've always dreamed about seeing, at least Benji and I have dreamed about seeing. And then, of course, we have Tony Revolorius, his brother, Dev Griebling, kind of the cooler brother, the more sort of, you know, roguish brother. But after the galaxy is mashed up, there's a big change in Dev, and we'll see a little bit of that later. And, of course, Marseille Martin, who is absolutely unbelievable as Yessi Scala, the fastest pilot in the galaxy. Just a cool devil-may care. You know, it's Star Wars. You got to have a cocky pilot, right? And she absolutely crushes it.
Which brings us to Jedi Bob. So, a lot of you probably already know that Jedi Bob is a cult classic figure in the mythos of Lego Star Wars, and from the moment we came on board with this, me being this Lego fan, I was like, well, we can't do this show without Jedi Bob. And, you know, when we were deciding, well, how do we cast Jedi Bob, it sort of came down to who is the funniest, best Bob that we know. And there was only one answer, Bobby Moynihan, who is no stranger to the Star Wars universe. The truth is, Bobby is as big of a Star Wars nerd as anyone I've ever met. And so we've been friends for a while, and we called him up and said, hey, do you know about this minifig, Jedi Bob? He was like, do I know about it? I have him. And you know, so every time we recorded Bobby, he kept his Jedi Bob original minifig in his pocket as a good luck charm, and it was really very special. And then finally, you can't have a Star Wars without a fun droid, and that is Servo, played by our friend Michael Cusack, who you may know from Smiling Friends and a bunch of other great stuff. And Servo is, you know, he starts off as an ordinary gonk droid, but he goes on, you know, a very special journey, and we get to see how he develops over the course of the special.
The other really amazing thing is, so this is sort of the core cast of new characters, but we actually have some of the Star Wars greats that have come back for this show. I mean, we talked about Darth Jar Jar, but it is played by Ahmad Best. Like, came back, was thrilled to be Jar Jar again, and really lived this role in an amazing way. And my childhood hero, and actually Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, who, I mean, what an honor. And you guys should talk about some of the storytelling both of these guys had just from like their experiences with George and like what they thought they could bring to Star Wars.
It's nearly indescribable, the feeling of growing up watching Mark Hamill, watching Ahmed, and then getting to actually work with them, to perform with them, to collaborate with them. And so, for me, seeing Ahmed go into the booth and become Jar Jar, it so deepened my admiration and just my awe at the performance that he gives. And he crushed it. He came in, he was so excited. And he, by the way, is very aware of the Darth Jar Jar memes, all of the fan theories. He loves them. So he came in and he had a ton of ideas. He started improvising in the booth. And all of the improvs that he did, we just put him right in the shot. I mean, they were absolutely incredible. He was so excited to show this different side of Jar Jar, and I am so glad that we were actually able to bring the legend of Jar Jar to life in Star Wars. It was one of those things where when Benji and I kind of floated it to the powers that be, we thought, there's no way they're gonna, and they said, why not? Let's do it. And to actually have him come back and be Jar Jar, I mean, what a dream.
And I mean, likewise, for Mark, like, these guys so embody their characters that there's very little that we have to do when we're recording them and working with them. Like, Mark was also improvising, and it's just like, oh, that's Luke. Like, I trust Luke. You do what you need to do, Luke. But it was super great, because, I mean, Mark is not only Luke Skywalker, but he's also one of the greatest voice actors to ever do it. So it was really very special to watch him do his thing. But then also, you know, it was, I think, fun for both Mark and Ahmed to be able to do a different version of the character, a fresh new take on things where it's still the character that we know and love, but with a new spin on it. And I'm excited for you to see this version of Luke. He is hilarious and really amazing.
Mark is also a consulting producer on the show, and that really came about just because he was so excited about being able to do a Luke Skywalker like he's never done before, and so he waded in with these guys and started kind of providing feedback and notes and what he thought Luke would say, and it was pretty incredible.
And I will say, Mark also wrote a lot of great jokes, which we didn't necessarily, we heard, oh, Mark wants to have a meeting, and I thought, okay, he's gonna have notes, he's really gonna like take it to us. And no, it was like, here are 10 amazing jokes that I've written. And we said, oh my God, yeah, let's do that. It was hard not to kind of be like, so when you were on the set of A New Hope, what was that like? But he would tell us these stories, many of which I cannot share, but they were incredible. So it was for a nerd, Star Wars nerd, like, it was going to the source. It was unbelievable.
We still asked him those questions, by the way. But I'd be remiss to not call out a couple of the other incredible people that brought this show to life. Our director is here today, Chris Buckley. Where are you, you tall, handsome guy? There he is. Chris is at Atomic Cartoons, and so much of the feel of the show, so much of the way it feels elevated and like a movie and so dynamic is really his work, and you even feel it in every frame. It's truly incredible. And, you know, the other thing is music. We don't have a great Star Wars without great music.
Music is really the other passenger on any great Star Wars journey, and we knew that we wanted to have our own iconic Star Wars themes, but with new motifs that felt Lego Star Wars, that felt like a mashup, like a mix-up, and our composer, Michael Kramer, was just the perfect person. He knocked it out of the park, and actually, the single, To New Adventures, which is Sig's theme, is available now on streaming platforms, and the full soundtrack to the show is releasing on September 13th. It's awesome, and I actually just listen to it when I'm writing because Michael did such an incredible job. Also want to give another shout out to Atomic, our animation studio. There are a lot of people from Atomic here today. They did an incredible job, and we're just so proud to have worked with them.
All right. I think we've told you enough about like who helped make this. You've seen some of the cool Lego sets that have come out of it. But what's this story about? You know, I mean, guys, tell them a story. I think at this point, we've been holding back for so long. It's time to actually share it with the world.
Yeah. So we begin in the Star Wars galaxy that we are all familiar with. We are post Rise of Skywalker. And we start on the planet of Finessa, which is actually a nerf-herding planet that we found in the Star Wars tabletop RPG. So we go real deep on this special for all you old heads like myself. And Sig is a nerf herder, a literal scruffy-looking nerf herder. This is, I believe, the first time that we have actually seen nerfs in Star Wars content, which is pretty amazing that we got to bring that to life. And what happens is Sig and his brother Dev are living their quiet lives on this planet of Finessa. Their friend Yessi is there. Sig is very much a stand-in for sort of what I was growing up, that kid that knows everything about the Star Wars galaxy. He knows the heroes, he knows the battles, he knows the planets. He's content to stay on his little farming planet of Finessa. He tells the stories of the epic Jedi heroes of the past, but his brother Dev, he wants to escape. He wants to get off of this boring Nerf planet and go on an adventure. And one day, they stumble across a lost and ancient Jedi temple.
Ooh. So inside the temple, that is where Sig discovers an object of immense power, which we call the cornerstone. Yeah, there it is. It might just look like a 1x1 Lego piece, but it is an object of immense power. And so the cornerstone, unbeknownst to Sig, this is the one Lego piece that holds together the entire Lego Star Wars galaxy. And so when he removes it, everything falls apart. It sends ripples throughout the galaxy. Every Lego piece breaks down into its component bricks and rebuilds back into a new version of the galaxy. And as we said, in this rebuilt version of the galaxy, not only are the familiar Star Wars faces very different than what we've seen before, but also some of the people closest to Sig in his life are also different now. Sig soon discovers, in fact, his own brother, Dev, is now Darth Dev. And here's some glimpses of, we've got mashed up ships. Look at this. I feel like I'm in a Lego set. It's awesome. So, Sig is like, I gotta get my galaxy back to the way it used to be. He's determined to set things back, and in order to do that, he seeks out the help of this legendary figure from his galaxy, Luke Skywalker, on the beaches of Tatooine. The beaches of Tatooine? What could that mean? But the Luke he meets is nothing like the Luke Skywalker that we are familiar with. He's nothing like the hero he's read about and learned about his entire life. But they still need his help. And so suddenly the fate of the galaxy all depends on Sig becoming the hero he needs in order to reset everything and employing other characters that we are familiar with in completely different ways along the way.
And one of the other things that's pretty impressive about what we did here is we completely changed the look of Lego Star Wars and did something we've never done before, really going from that core inspiration of this is from a kid's imagination. This is something you could build in your bedroom and actually set up and tell this story with all the incredible elements that you can kind of just find at your house. So there's like corrugated cardboard mountains, there are cotton ball clouds that are kind of dabbled in here and there. Planets are built out of Legos, and none of this really takes away from the Star Wars fantasy. It ends up really feeling like this is something that could be crafted from a kid's imagination. It's nothing like anything we've done before, and a large testament of that is to Mr. Buckley over there.
Yeah, so it was just a great opportunity to create versions of these planets that we've never seen before. Things like what Dan said, like nerf herding. It's like something we've talked about for 40 years, but we've never seen it. So to actually be able to, well, what does a nerf look like? How does it move? What does nerf herding look like? What tools do they use? We got to create all of that, and it was just an amazing experience, yeah.
I know it sounds like it's a lot of craziness, but please know, at the end of the day, this is a celebration of a galaxy I think everybody here really loves, and that's Star Wars. And that's the way we have approached every decision as we move forward, even just some promotional content, which I'm proud to show you today that we have a little surprise. This is the first time anyone's seeing these promotional parody posters, which we're releasing, and these are based off of some of the most iconic Star Wars marketing that's definitely seared into my brain, and I'm sure some of you too. Let's pull them up. Do you guys want to talk about them?
Oh, yeah, there's Jedi Bob, inspired by the Force Awakens teaser poster. And yeah, look at him. He looks amazing. What else we got? Oh yeah, there's Jedi Vader, inspired by the Last Jedi poster. A little glimpse of that. What else do we got? Oh, here's a surprise. So inspired by the Attack of the Clones poster. We've got Leia and Greedo. What? What's that about? A Rodian shall not know anger, hatred, nor love.
And of course, my personal favorite, inspired by the Phantom Menace. Yeah. Tragic. The legend of Darth Jar Jar begins here on Tatooine. Very, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch, but we must. All
right, so this is my favorite part of this entire panel, actually, because it fulfills a lifelong dream that I've always had of being a little bit more like Oprah Winfrey. And this is where I get to tell you that every single person here is getting a set of these posters. So that means you get a poster and you get a poster, and I hope that we get posters too, because they're pretty cool.
I hope we get a poster. You guys want another surprise? All right.
Can I just say, many Bothans died to bring you the trailer for LEGO Star Wars.
New trailer. Let's take a look.
My galaxy is the home of the most epic story ever told. But then I found the cornerstone, and everything changed.
Listen up, Sig. There's only one way to say this. You messed up. You blew it. You goofed.
Jedi Bob, that's like 3 different ways.
When you removed the cornerstone, you created a new galaxy. Every person and every world will be different.
We've got to make everything go back to the way it was, because nothing makes sense.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
I know who can help us. The greatest hero of all time, Luke Skywalker.
Let me see if I have this right. In your galaxy, my dad is mostly evil until he turns good for like 5 minutes and then dies. My own nephew betrays me and kills most of my best friends. And I spend decades alone until I use the Force so hard that it kills me?
Well, when he puts it that way.
That is no escape.
What in the... Excuse me!
Darth Jar Jar? Ridiculous.
Oh, time to go! X-Wing TIE Fighters? Ewok Bounty Hunters? You spend your life telling stories about heroes? Maybe it's time to be one. Woo-hoo, yeah!
This party's just getting started.
We're losing power! We're gonna crash! Scary!
The Force will guide us.
It will?
Here's hoping!
Oh, come on!
Wow.
We found extra mic technology. We had to invent these mics. Hey, how not bad.
saw some characters that are kind of Star Wars, like superstars that are in this that we didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about the cast slide.
Yeah, I told you there'd be more surprises.
Yeah, you did.
And look at this.
Oh.
Yeah, the cast just got a little bigger.
Wait a second.
So who do we got, Benji? Who do we got?
I mean, I'm looking at Anthony Daniels right there. You can't do Star Wars without C-3PO. But we have a different version of C-3PO.
He's a bounty hunter, C-3PO, and he's got a bad attitude. He will still tell you the odds, but they're very bad. They're bad odds for you, and he enjoys that. We also have Kelly Marie Tran coming back as a new version of Rostico, who we are very excited about. Kelly is one of the most talented actresses we've ever worked with. She is a pleasure, and we told her everything that we write from now on, she will be in it, because she is that incredible. We also have Naomi Ackie coming back as Jana, who is a very different version of Jana than we got to spend time with in Rise of Skywalker, and it was just so exciting. One of the big ideas of this special was to bring everyone from every era of Star Wars into the fold, have them interact in ways that they never could before, and so we just kind of got to cherry pick all of these characters that we wanted to spend more time with. And then there's one big name over there, Benji, I don't know if you want to talk about.
The coolest cat in the galaxy.
Billy D. Williams, back as Lando, and I just have to say, like, as cool in person as you could ever hope that he would be.
I can tell you one quick story, which we were doing, we're in the recording booth, and I kind of, there was one line, we said, oh, can you do it a little more suave? And he looked at us and he went, oh, you want it hip? And I thought it was the coolest thing anyone has ever said to me. So, you want it hip has entered my daily vocabulary, and we tried to make this special as hip as possible in honor of Billy D. Williams. And who else we got?
Over here, I mean, lots of familiar faces and voices that you have heard in a lot of Star Wars content, and it's just the greatest voice cast we've ever had the pleasure of working with.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that if you know about voice acting, this is basically an all-star team of voice actors that was assembled, including Shelby Young, who's right there.
Oh my God!
It's really her.
What are you doing here? She had to come. So again, we were so blessed to have put together an ensemble that really felt the DNA of Star Wars, both from the returning legacy cast members to the people that have carried that torch in the voice acting and all of those amazing shows that we love so much. And it's just been, what can I say? To even be here it feels like something that seemed impossible for us, but here we are. We made a Star Wars for you.
Should we do another surprise? I'm just in a very surprising mood, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus. Before we show you the trailer one last time, because I think we need to show it one last time.
There's a lot to catch in it.
There is a lot to catch in it. But just so everyone here knows, you got a raffle ticket when you came in today. And a select few of you, if you have a Lucasfilm stamp on your raffle ticket, are getting a pretty amazing surprise after the show if you stick around to the end. So with that, guys.
Should we do it one more time? You want to see it one more time?
Want to see it one more time?
Let's roll the trailer.
All right, let's do it.
The trailer.
Well, Alex is here with us, design manager with Disney Consumer Products, and what a coup this is. You get to show off a brand new Star Wars exclusive. Is it exclusive here to D23?
It's available at D23 right now, but it's going to be available on the Disney Store on the 12th.
And that's what we like to hear, because that means there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So tell me about this incredible piece where we've got a backpack, and, well, I'm going to let you tell. You're the expert.
Yeah, so this is the Star Wars Villains Collection. We have a backpack, we have ears, we have a Starbucks tumbler, we also have a jersey, and this is my first artist collection here at D23, and I'm really excited.
So tell me about your history with Star Wars. What was it about this project that got you so excited?
Oh, I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life, ever since I was a little kid watching it with my dad and my brother. And I've always been a fan of Darth Vader and Stormtroopers ever since I was drawing as a little kid and continuing drawing as an adult. So I was really excited to be able to draw these kind of characters and feature them on these kind of products.
And you've got icons, right? Stormtroopers naturally, but Darth Vader, arguably the most famous villain in the history of popular culture. What is it about Darth Vader you think that transcends all different art forms and stories?
Man, from a character perspective, he's got such a great arc from where he started to where he ended. From a visual perspective, he's so iconic. He's from his tall stature, from his like dark black suit. He just stands out among all other characters in the movie and in villains in movies in general.
Right. Do you remember the first time you saw the movie?
Oh, yeah. My dad just bought surround sound speakers. I think I was 6 years old, and he brought them home, and he said, son, you got to come watch this movie. And I don't know what I was doing. And I remember where I was sitting on that couch, and I've been a Star Wars fan ever since.
There's just something special about it. So tell me about kind of what into your creation, because you have so many options to choose from when you're creating Vader. You've got him standing there. He's got his fist up in a form of power, the lightsaber, of course.
Mm-hmm. I really wanted to play with his proportions a little bit. So from an artistic standpoint, his chest's a little bit bigger, he's a little bit taller, and I wanted him to be blockier. I wanted to make a character design that was simple, so simple shapes, but had these really bright highlights to make it iconic and dynamic and read really well.
So is there a challenge when, did you design, obviously Vader is black and red, but was that a challenge to work with those specific colors, or was that something you welcomed?
Oh, I welcome it. And even with Darth Vader, there's a range of grays, and adding those highlights, he's got really bright highlights along the side of his body. That kind of helps to differentiate some of those dark shapes. And
I know some of the Marvel artists have told me over the years how difficult his mask is to draw.
I love it. Yeah, I feel like it's great to reduce down to some simple shapes, and he's so blocky it makes him easier to turn around. I really enjoy him. So
what are some others? So talk to me about. We've got the mouse ears, and then what is this called? Sippy cup? What is it called?
It is a tumbler.
I'll edit that out. Yeah.
Sippy cup. We're gonna go with sippy cup.
Sippy cup. That is the unofficial. Yeah, that's not going to be in the podcast.
Starbucks tumbler.
Oh, this is a Starbucks tumbler. Tell me about that.
So Starbucks tumbler. It's got Darth Vader front and center. It's got the Death Star behind him, and I love the way they incorporated the red straw with the all black tumbler. I think it looks really great.
Oh, I just noticed it's a red straw, of course. And there's not dangerous to take a sip, right?
Well, I haven't tried yet, but I have it on good authority that it's safe to drink.
Okay. Reasonable. What are some other things that we can look forward to from you that have already been created in the world of Star Wars?
Well, I can't speak to any of that yet, but there's a lot coming. It's going to be exciting.
Well, Alex, that is a perfect tease. Thank you so much for being on Coffee with Kenobi. Amazing work.
Thank you so much.
Back again, everybody. Hello. Quite an exciting day. It's only day one, and here we are in the Honda Center. This is the place for the massive announcements and panels. Tonight is the Disney Studio panel where Lucasfilm, Disney, Pixar, and Marvel are going to announce all their big projects. We'll probably get some new trailers, maybe some casting news. Usually actors and creators come out. It's an amazing time. I mentioned this on Instagram, but I wondered why things are going to be at the Honda Center, but now I see I'm inside here. So the Anaheim Mighty Ducks NHL hockey team play. Place is huge. The acoustics are amazing. There's a lot of opportunity for theatrical experiences with the lighting and the screens, and there's just so much space. I'm in the 200 section. They really took care of the media for this. They always do, honestly, but it's quite a blessing to be able to sit here. I'm one of the first here. I got here extra early because I want to make sure I could set up, get a seat, and kind of get the lay of the land. And it's really nice. They had a bunch of buses that take people from the Anaheim Convention Center to the Honda Center. There was a different bus area for members of the media, so I got here in a bit of a streamlined fashion, went through security, no problem. And here we are hoping to get some interviews with people about the reactions to the big news, and hopefully you're enjoying this coverage and letting everybody know about Coffee with Kenobi's D23 experience. Hopefully you feel like you are a part of this because I'm taking you with me for the ride. Let's see what happens. Cannot wait. All right, I know I said I was going to do the panel and reviews, but Shawn Degenhart stopped by for the Hyperion Hub. Of course, you heard Shawn when we did the D23 preview, which thank you for your kind comments on that. Shawn, how's the show going for you?
I'm exhausted, but so exhilarated. It's been a great day. Was at the parks yesterday, so worn out from that, but then attended some great panels today. Got to see a lot of people. Ran into Bill Rogers and Cammie Dixon, the voiceover artists for Disneyland Park, and ran into Eric Larson, and it's just been a great day.
Wow. So what is your tip? Because some people get really worried or intimidated when they see like celebrities. What are your tips for that?
I try to read the room a little bit. If they're talking to people, then I might get in line if there's not a lot of people. But if it looks like they're in a hurry, just maybe a quick hi and let them be about their business.
Right, and that's exactly it, because for them, this is their job. They love it too, right. But I think that's a really good tip. What are you most looking forward to for this?
I'm excited to see just the announcements coming and who's going to pop out and say hi. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
That's huge. And you said this is your first time being in a big panel.
This is the first of the big panels, yeah. So.
Oh, I can't wait to catch up with you after and see what you think.
Yep.
Hello, friends. I am back. It is the end of day one of D23, and what a wild and crazy day it has been. From getting to the airport last night to now, it's really been something, but it's been really something special. I'm so glad and grateful that you've been following me on this journey. Thank you again to everyone who followed along on my Instagram stories and on Twitter until my cellular connection ran out and the Wi-Fi in the building was quite occupied by everyone in attendance, so I wasn't able to finish off the panels like I hoped to, but it was a really, really fun evening. We got to see a lot of great stars in person. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Dwayne Johnson, and his co-star, whose name I cannot think of at the moment because it's like 11:30 California time, which means it's 1:30 my time. But there were just so many stars there. A lot of the people from Marvel. I think my favorite footage was the Fantastic Four footage. It was just stuff, because they've hardly filmed anything, but they did prepare some stuff specifically for D23. At least that's how I understood it. That was pretty remarkable. But the highlight, there are two highlights. Highlights of the highlights. That's the technical term, everyone. The first is seeing the Mandalorian and Grogu footage. We didn't get to see very much, but I got to see the Mandalorian, and there were snowtroopers and AT-ATs he was fighting, and it was just so cool. It was just so great. I had the biggest smile on my face seeing it happen. I could feel my cheeks stretching. I was just so happy to see it. I can't wait for everyone else to get a chance to see it. I'm not sure what they will release and what they won't. The Skeleton Crew footage I was quite impressed with, and you normally hear things like, oh, this is going to be like the Amblin movies, or the Steven Spielberg stuff and Goonies of the 80s, and sometimes those comparisons I find a little, lacking in originality, and sometimes I think it's just easy to compare stuff to older stuff. But it was true here. It was completely true, 100%. I thought it lived up to that concept. It really looked refreshing. It almost looked kind of real worldly in a way, with some of the lawns and the way some of the neighborhoods were set up, but it didn't bother me. It felt like a new way to look at Star Wars, and it's just a trailer. So it's hard to say. We'll find out more, of course, when this series airs in January, but it was really, really cool. And then the other highlight, I think I posted on Twitter this in all caps, but it was, people are going to say goodnight. Hold on. Here we go. Thank you. A lot of friendly Disney security, so that's cool. No, the ultimate highlight that I put in all caps was Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. And I got to see, after he transforms, he puts his head over this podium, and he's the Red Hulk, and it was Harrison's face, but he was the Red Hulk, and he was just hulked out, and the muscles and the hair and his expression, I'm like, oh my gosh, Harrison is Hulk. I mean, just saying that out loud just blows my mind. It's like the coolest geek fantasy ever. I absolutely loved it. It was so stinking cool. Another technical term, stinking cool. There you go. The biggest challenge was the Honda Center, as you saw on Instagram, and I posted a video on Facebook and Twitter. It's where they had the massive big panels instead of at the very, very end of the Anaheim Convention Center. And so they took us over there in buses. The media got shipped over earlier on buses, and I went. So I had like an hour and 10 minutes to kind of get comfortable in my seat, and that was really great. Very, very easy. On the way back, it was just kind of everyone together, as far as I could tell. So it took me probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to get on the bus after. So that makes for a very, very long evening. I don't regret it. It was really, really fun. Hopefully tomorrow when we're walking around the convention floor, we will get a chance to talk to other people who were at D23 today and get their feedback and comments on a pretty exciting first day, ending with those amazing panels. So that's going to do it for me for night one. There's been so much footage today, audio-wise, so I think I'll just release this as a show, D23 Day One. So how about it? Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on this experience. Still 2 more days of D23 to go. A lot of great interviews and surprises coming your way. Thank you so much, as always. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for. We will see you tomorrow.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee With Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.